Deep in the Florida swamps, a silent war is raging. An invasive species is completely destroying the local ecosystem, causing the near disappearance of small and medium-sized mammal species. But Florida has a secret weapon, a primitive and underestimated predator. A warrior that's becoming the last natural hope against this devastating invasion. Can you guess what animal this is? Before I reveal it, let me tell you something that's going to shock you even more. Let's start by talking about the real villains of this story, Burmese pythons. These Asian giants can exceed 16 feet in length and weigh over 130 pounds. But brace yourself, because scientists recently discovered they can be even larger. Some reach up to 26 feet in length. These snakes began escaping into the wild back in the 1970s, when people kept them as exotic pets, and they found the perfect ecosystem to thrive in South Florida. Size isn't the biggest problem, it's their destructive capacity. Since they established themselves in the Everglades, these serpents have caused an unprecedented ecological collapse. The Burmese python population exploded in just 20 years, from just a few at the southern tip of Everglades National Park, to an invasion that now encompasses the southern third of Florida. We're talking about tens of thousands of these predators spread across more than 1,000 square miles. The destruction is staggering. Raccoons practically extinct in the region, a 99.3% decline. Opossums to 98.9% decline. Bobcats to 87.5% fewer. Marsh rabbits and foxes have simply vanished. And if you think the problem stops there, recent scientific discoveries revealed that the Burmese python's mouth opening is even larger than previously believed, allowing them to devour enormous prey. Researchers were shocked to document pythons devouring deer weighing up to 77 pounds, goats, and even other predators. But nature always holds surprises. And that's where our secret weapon comes in. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the true kings of Florida's swamps. American alligators. These apex predators, which can exceed 14 feet in length and weigh up to 1,100 pounds, are proving to be the only ones capable of facing the invasive pythons on equal terms. Here's an impressive fact. The Everglades house about 200,000 of Florida's 1.25 million alligators. That's right. While other species have been decimated, alligators maintain a robust and healthy population. And if you're enjoying discovering these incredible secrets of nature, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, because I have many more epic stories to share with you. While almost all other native animals suffered devastating population declines, Florida's alligator population remains strong and stable. They are literally one of the only native species that hasn't been directly affected by the python invasion. When adult, pythons have few known predators, basically alligators and American crocodiles, some brave bobcats, other larger snakes, and potentially Florida panthers. But among all these predators, alligators are clearly the most effective and numerous. And when these titans meet, the spectacle is breathtaking. In 2005, researchers found a 13-foot python that literally exploded after trying to swallow a 6-foot alligator. The snake's stomach couldn't handle the size of the prey and ruptured. This bizarre scene became a symbol of the epic war happening in Florida's swamps. More recently, golfers in Naples witnessed an epic battle between these predators right in the middle of the golf course. The alligator managed to grab the python by the head while the serpent tried to coil around it. The fight lasted over 20 minutes, with both animals displaying impressive strength. Researchers have documented cases of pythons over 13 feet long that had entire alligators in their stomachs. But they've also recorded alligators that fed on pythons. It's literally a war where the biggest and smartest wins. And here's something that will impress you even more. In October 2024, researchers from the Conservancy of Southwest Florida encountered an impressive scene during an expedition in Everglades. A python that had devoured a 77-pound deer This shows how these serpents are capable of consuming enormous prey. But it also reveals why alligators are so important. They're one of the few animals capable of facing predators of this magnitude. Now, here's something important that scientists discovered. We still don't know for certain the real impact that one species has on the other. We're not sure about how frequently alligators attack python eggs or hatchlings, or if pythons do the same with alligator eggs or young gators. What we do know is that both are extremely opportunistic predators, and that's exactly what we see in these documented cases of mutual predation, which appear to be occasional but brutally effective. Alligators have some fascinating evolutionary advantages in this war. Their skin is practically natural armor, with osteoderms, bony plates that make it extremely difficult for a python to achieve an effective stranglehold. Additionally, an adult alligator's jaw strength can exceed 2,000 pounds per square inch, enough to break bones and crush a python's head in seconds. But here's the big problem that scientists discovered. Even though alligators aren't directly affected by pythons, they suffer a devastating indirect impact. Remember those shocking numbers about disappearing mammals? Raccoons, opossums, rabbits, bobcats, all these animals are also part of alligators' diet. When pythons eliminate these species from the ecosystem, alligators lose important food sources. It's like someone going to your favorite supermarket and removing half the products from the shelves. You wouldn't starve, but you'd certainly have to drastically change your eating habits. Alligators now need to compete more intensely for available food sources, including fish, waterfowl, and even carrion. We still don't fully know the long-term impact this food competition will have on the alligator population, but researchers are monitoring closely. There's also a fascinating territorial question. Burmese pythons are spreading into areas traditionally dominated by alligators. This creates more frequent encounters between the two species, especially during breeding season, when both animals become more aggressive and territorial. So what's the solution? Unfortunately, even with our alligator warriors doing their best, they alone can't solve the problem. The most effective strategy is still organized human removal. Scientists use GPS technology to track Judas snake's male pythons with transmitters that lead researchers to breeding females during mating season. There are innovative capture programs that even offer financial incentives for those who remove these invasive serpents. Some specialized hunters make money for each python captured, up to $200 for a python over 13 feet. The state of Florida also organizes annual competitions called the Python Challenge, where hunters from across the country come to try to capture as many of these invasive serpents as possible. But considering there are tens of thousands of these snakes spread across a gigantic area, some estimates suggest there could be over 100,000 pythons in the Everglades. It's a battle that will last decades. Each female can lay between 50 to 100 eggs per year, and with a high survival rate in Florida's favorable environment, the population continues growing rapidly. So the next time you hear about Florida's environmental problems, remember the American alligators, the true guardians of the swamps. They may not be able to solve the invasive python problem alone, but they're giving an impressive lesson in resistance and adaptation. These ancestral predators who survived the dinosaurs and thrived for millions of years now face a new challenge in their own territory. If you enjoyed learning about this epic war of nature, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I've got a special video on the end screen that I'm sure you'll love. Until the next wild adventure.